Welcome to World Information HD. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare U.S. coins. We'll explore the top 10 most valuable and ultra-rare Lincoln 1-cent pennies, those dirty pennies that might be hiding in your collection, each worth millions. Stay tuned as we reveal these hidden treasures and the incredible stories behind them. Today, we're diving into a piece of American history that's small in size but massive in value: the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny. While it might look like any other penny tossed around in your pocket or found in your change, this tiny copper coin hides a story of heritage, rarity, and potential fortune. Whether you're a seasoned collector, a history enthusiast, or just someone who's curious about coins that could make a difference in your financial luck, this penny is worth your attention. The Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of the most iconic coins in United States history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln on the centennial of his birth. What made this coin revolutionary at the time was its design. Lincoln's portrait was the first realistic depiction of an actual historical figure to appear on circulating U.S. coins. It was a departure from the symbolic representations like liberty or other abstract images that dominated American coinage for centuries. By 1941, the Lincoln Wheat Penny had been circulating for over 3 decades. The obverse side, or front of the coin, prominently features Lincoln's profile, showcasing intricate detail in his hair, beard, and facial features. Surrounding Lincoln are the inscriptions: "In God We Trust." At the top, "Liberty," to the left, and the year 1941 to the right. On the reverse side, the coin carries the iconic wheat ears, framing the words 1 cent in the center and United States of America below, with E Pluribus Unum at the top. This reverse design would continue to be used until 1958, after which it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design. Now, the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny comes in 2 main varieties, with a mint mark and without a mint mark. The mint mark indicates the location of the mint that produced the coin. Coins with a D were minted in Denver, while those with an S came from San Francisco. The 1941 no-mint mark penny, however, was produced in Philadelphia, which did not use a mint mark at the time. While this might seem ordinary at first glance, the Philadelphia coins of 1941 carry unique historical significance. They were struck during a time when the United States was on the brink of entering World War II, and coin production was about to undergo changes due to wartime metal needs. One of the key things collectors look for in a 1941 no-mint mark penny is its condition, often referred to in numismatics as its grade. Coins are graded on a scale from poor P1 to perfect mint state, MS70. The grading takes into account the wear, scratches, luster, and overall eye appeal. Most pennies found in circulation today are heavily worn, with years of use taking a toll on their original details. However, coins that were carefully preserved, perhaps stored away in a drawer or a coin collection for decades, can appear almost as fresh as the day they were minted. Even a dirty 1941 no-mint mark penny, that is, one that shows discoloration, grime, or patina, can hold significant value. Dirt or toning doesn't necessarily reduce a coin's worth. In fact, for many collectors, the natural patina of an older coin can add character and authenticity, proving that the coin has genuinely survived the passage of time. Cleaning coins is generally discouraged because improper cleaning can damage their surfaces and sharply reduce their collectible value. So, if you come across a 1941 no-mint mark penny that looks a little worn or dirty, don't immediately dismiss it. That very imperfection may be a sign of its originality, which serious collectors prize highly. But why exactly is the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny valuable today? One reason is scarcity. While millions of pennies were minted in 1941, very few have survived in excellent condition. Over the decades, countless coins were lost, melted down, or heavily circulated, making well-preserved examples increasingly rare. Another reason is demand. Lincoln Wheat Pennies are among the most popular collectible coins in the United States, and collectors often seek to complete full-year sets, including each mint mark variety. Because the Philadelphia coins did not carry a mint mark, Finding a quality example from 1941 is especially desirable for those attempting to fill gaps in their collections. There's also the historical factor. Every coin minted in 1941 was produced during a pivotal time in American history. The country was recovering from the Great Depression, facing economic uncertainty, and soon to be drawn into global conflict. Holding a coin from this era is like holding a tangible piece of that past. Each scratch, discoloration, or mark tells a story of decades of circulation, surviving through countless hands, transactions, and stories. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy history, and few coins capture that narrative as beautifully as the 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny. For those new to coin collecting, you might wonder, how can you tell if your 1941 no-mint mark penny is a genuine collectible? First, examine the obverse carefully. The 1941 should be clear and well-defined, and Lincoln's profile should retain as much detail as possible, especially in his beard and hair. The reverse should show the wheat ears with minimal flattening or wear. A magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe is often helpful for spotting minute details. Be wary of counterfeit or altered coins, which occasionally appear in the market. Buying from reputable dealers or verified auction houses can reduce the risk of acquiring an inauthentic penny. Condition aside, provenance can also influence value. Coins that come with a clear history, perhaps passed down through family generations, found in old coin collections, or authenticated through grading services, often attract higher prices. Documentation, even something as simple as a photo of the coin decades ago, can enhance its desirability among collectors. Speaking of value, let's talk numbers. The worth of a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny varies depending on its condition. A heavily circulated example may fetch a few dollars at most, while one in extremely fine condition can reach significantly higher amounts. Exceptional specimens, especially those graded as mint state, are often sold at auction for remarkable prices. And it's important to remember that the coin market can fluctuate based on collector interest, rarity, and the overall economic environment. Even if your penny looks ordinary, it's worth holding onto it and having it evaluated by a professional. Many collectors have been surprised to discover that coins they thought were worthless ended up being worth far more than they imagined. The 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those hidden treasures, small, seemingly ordinary, but potentially extraordinarily valuable if preserved and authenticated correctly. The appeal of this coin goes beyond monetary value. Many collectors are drawn to the Lincoln Wheat Penny for its design, historical significance, and connection to a broader narrative of American culture and history. Owning a piece like this allows you to touch the past in a way few other collectibles can provide. It's a coin that has traveled through time, witnessing nearly a century of history, yet remains in your hands, bridging generations. Collectors often seek to complete full-year sets of Lincoln Wheat Pennies. A 1941 no-mint mark penny is a critical piece in that puzzle, filling a gap in Philadelphia minted coins. Because the mint did not use a mark, these coins can sometimes be overlooked, making them an intriguing addition to any collection. They aren't just coins, they are historical artifacts, tangible connections to the early 1940s, each with its own unique journey from the mint to your collection. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny in your pocket change, your attic, or a coin jar that's been untouched for decades, pay attention. Examine it carefully, preserve it as best as you can, and consider consulting with a professional coin grader or dealer. You might just be holding a small piece of history that has the potential to transform your understanding of coin collecting, and perhaps your financial outlook. In the end, the 1941 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of American heritage, a relic of a bygone era, and a fascinating collectible that bridges history and modern-day numismatics. It reminds us that sometimes, even the smallest things can carry immense significance. That little penny in your hand isn't just copper, it's a story, a legacy, and for some, a very real fortune. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins you might find tucked away in a jar, old wallet, or even loose in circulation, the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent, affectionately known by collectors as a dirty wheat penny. While it may look like just another aged penny at first glance, this unassuming coin carries a story, a legacy, and yes, potentially a substantial monetary value that can surprise anyone lucky enough to hold it. The Lincoln Wheat Penny, first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's centennial, became an instant classic. Its iconic design featured a young Lincoln in profile on the obverse and two stalks of wheat on the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and growth. By 1950, this penny had been circulating for decades, often found in pockets, registers, and piggy banks across America. What makes the 1950 no-mint mark version particularly intriguing is that it was minted in Philadelphia, the main U.S. mint that, at the time, did not place a mint mark on coins. This is where history meets rarity. Many casual collectors might pass over the 1950 no-mint mark penny, assuming it's just another worn coin among millions. After all, billions of Lincoln pennies were struck that year. However, what distinguishes this coin is its survival, condition, and subtle characteristics that only the trained eye or the keen enthusiast can recognize. Unlike pristine, uncirculated coins that sit safely in albums or display cases, the dirty pennies tell a story. They bear the marks of time, the fingerprints of decades, and the patina of history. When we talk about a dirty penny, we're not just referring to grime or discoloration. In numismatic terms, a dirty coin is one that shows significant circulation where yet still retains the integrity of its design. Its details are softened, edges smoothed, and its original shine is muted, often replaced by a natural copper brown or reddish hue. These imperfections, surprisingly, can add to its charm and even appeal. For many collectors, a coin with history, a coin that has passed through countless hands, carries an aura of authenticity and nostalgia that a shiny new penny simply cannot match. Identifying a genuine 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln penny requires attention to detail. The first thing collectors look at is the date. It should read clearly as 1950 on the obverse, although wear can sometimes make the digits appear faint or slightly distorted. The absence of a mint mark on the obverse, just below the date, is the next critical indicator. This single detail confirms its origin from the Philadelphia Mint, differentiating it from pennies minted in Denver or San Francisco, which carry a D or S respectively. Another factor that adds value to these coins is rarity in circulation. While millions were minted, most have been lost to everyday use, melted down, or discarded over the decades. Surviving examples that show legible details, especially on the wheat stalks on the reverse, can be highly sought after by collectors. Coins with clear outlines of Lincoln's bust, pronounced features, and distinguishable wheat stalks often fetch more attention and higher prices, even if they are dirty or heavily circulated. For those who are new to coin collecting, you might be wondering, how does a dirty, worn penny become valuable? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity, demand, and historical significance. The 1950 no-mint mark penny occupies a sweet spot. It's old enough to be considered collectible but not so rare as to be inaccessible. Collectors seeking to complete a Lincoln penny collection often target years like 1950, especially in mid-grade condition, because these coins are integral to a comprehensive set. The coin represents not just monetary value but also a piece of American history, a tangible link to the post-World War II era, when pennies were more than just currency. They were symbols of everyday life in a nation rebuilding and growing in prosperity. Another important consideration is coin grading. Coins are generally evaluated on a scale that measures their condition, from good, at the lowest end, to mint state, at the highest. A 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in low-grade condition may still have its charm and collectability, but its value increases significantly if its details are more pronounced and its surfaces relatively free from damage. Even coins that appear dirty or worn can be graded as fine or very fine, which collectors understand as indicators of authenticity and reasonable preservation despite circulation. Of course, there are pitfalls for casual collectors. Cleaning a coin, for instance, might seem like a good idea to make it shine, but this is one of the cardinal sins in numismatics. Abrasive cleaning can strip away natural patina, remove surface details, and dramatically decrease value. Collectors and experts advise leaving coins in their natural state, allowing the dirty surfaces to tell their stories. Often, the natural appearance of wear and coloration actually increases the coin's authenticity and desirability in the market. Market trends also play a role in the value of these coins. Interest in Lincoln Wheat Pennies has remained strong for decades, with a growing number of collectors and investors seeking them out. The 1950 no-mint mark penny, especially in collectible condition, commands attention because it represents a significant post-war era, is part of the broader Lincoln series, and offers a tangible link to mid-century American life. When rare coins like this enter auctions or private sales, competitive bidding can drive prices upward, reflecting both historical significance and collector demand. It's worth noting that finding a 1950 no-mint mark penny in circulation today can feel like a small treasure hunt. While many exist in collections or stored in old coin jars, a coin that combines both wear and well-preserved details can be a rare find for anyone exploring loose coins from estates, antique shops, or family collections. Enthusiasts often recommend checking old rolls of pennies, visiting estate sales, or networking with local coin collectors to increase the chances of uncovering a hidden gem. In summary, the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent, the dirty wheat penny, may look ordinary at first glance, but it holds a unique position in numismatics. Its charm lies in its combination of historical significance, subtle rarity, and aesthetic character. The wear and patina are not flaws, they are badges of survival, reminders that this coin has traversed countless hands, witnessed decades of American history, and persisted where so many others have been lost. For collectors, this coin is a chance to own a piece of history, a tangible connection to the 1950s, and a potential investment in a steadily appreciating collectible. If you happen to find one of these coins in your collection or stumble upon it in change, it's worth taking a closer look. While it may be dusty or discolored, the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln penny could be more valuable than you think. Carefully examine its details, appreciate its history, and consult with a trusted coin dealer or numismatic expert to understand its true condition and market value. In many cases, this dirty wheat penny, overlooked by many, could quietly be one of the most significant coins in your collection. And for those who are curious about the pinnacle of its worth, the 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln 1 cent can reach a remarkable price, a testament to its enduring allure and the fascination collectors hold for these small, yet historically profound, pieces of currency. That value is an eye-opening $33,263. The world of coin collecting is full of hidden surprises, and sometimes the smallest, dirtiest coin in your hand can turn out to be a treasure that connects you to history. Today, we are diving deep into one such coin that many people overlook because they think it's too common, too worn, or simply too dirty to be worth anything. But looks can be deceiving, and this tiny copper piece has a story that stretches across decades. This is the tale of the United States of America 1954 mint mark Lincoln dirty 1 cent wheat penny, a coin that carries more history and value than most collectors realize at first glance. Imagine this: you find an old jar in your house filled with pennies, all mixed together, darkened by time, covered in dust, some stained, some scratched. You pour them into your hand and start looking through them. Suddenly your eyes stop on a penny that looks completely ordinary. It's brown, dull, worn down, and looks like it hasn't seen a coin collector's hand in decades. But then you flip it over and notice something special, a tiny D stamped just below the date 1954. That little letter stands for the Denver Mint, one of the busiest coin-producing facilities in the United States. But in that moment, you don't yet know that this small copper coin may be worth far more than 1 cent. You're holding a piece of American history. The 1954 wheat penny belongs to the iconic Lincoln cent series that began in 1909. These coins were created to honor Abraham Lincoln, and they remained in production until 1958 with the wheat ears reverse design. If you hold one in your hand, you're holding a design that millions of Americans carried through the Great Depression, World War II, and the booming 1950s. Imagine the hands this exact coin could have touched: factory workers, farmers, bus drivers, soldiers returning home, children buying candy for a penny. Every tiny scratch, every bit of dirt, Every faded line is a story of someone who once used this coin in everyday life. The Denver Mint produced over 251 million Lincoln cents in 1954. Because of this high mintage, people often assume that every 1954 D penny is basically worthless. But coin collectors know something that the average person does not. Even common year coins can carry high value when they are the right combination of condition, rarity, strike quality, and preservation. Some pennies that were struck with slightly different dies, or ones that survived in better condition, can end up being far more valuable than their common appearance suggests. That is exactly where the 1954 D penny becomes interesting. Now, this video focuses on the dirty 1-cent wheat penny, and that detail is important. Many of the 1954 D pennies found today are dirty, stained, or worn because they stayed in circulation for a long time. People carried them in pockets, wallets, work bags, lunch boxes, and coin jars for decades. Dirt and grime slowly built up. Copper naturally darkened because of oxidation. Exposure to moisture or harsh environments created spots and stains that collectors often call toning. Though not all toning is attractive. But here's the key point: just because a penny is dirty doesn't mean it is worthless. In fact, some coins that look dirty or dull on the surface are actually hiding extremely sharp details underneath. Many collectors have discovered valuable coins after gently cleaning away the dust, though it is important to note that professional collectors never recommend cleaning coins aggressively because improper cleaning can dramatically reduce their value. But the idea remains: dirt hides details, and details create value. The Denver Mint in 1954 was known for striking coins quickly and in huge quantities. Because of this fast production pace, many coins from that year show weak strikes, uneven lettering, or off-center rims. These defects make a well-struck, sharp, well-preserved coin more desirable. Even more desirable are error coins produced unintentionally at the mint, coins with doubled dies, repunched mint marks, die cracks, lamination errors, or off-center strikes. The 1954 D penny has several known varieties that collectors look for. For example, some pennies from this year show a repunched D mint mark. This happens when the mint worker punches the mint mark into the die more than once, but the punches are slightly misaligned. When such coins appear in high quality, they can be quite valuable. Some pennies also show signs of die wear, long lines or cracks that appear across Lincoln's face, coat, or the wheat ears on the reverse. Certain collectors love these natural mint-produced errors because they make the coin stand out from the millions of others. When examining a 1954 D dirty wheat penny, experts look at multiple factors. One of the most important is the strike quality, how clearly Lincoln's hair, beard, and facial lines are visible. Under magnification, they check the shape of the lettering, especially the word Liberty and the date. On the reverse side, the grains in the wheat ears should be crisp if the coin was struck well. Even a dirty coin can have these details hiding underneath. Another major factor is overall condition. Collectors use grading terms such as good, very fine, extremely fine, about uncirculated, and mint state. The highest levels, especially mint state grades, bring the most money at auctions. But even circulated, dirty, or darkened coins can bring good prices if they show specific errors or rare characteristics. One more reason the 1954 D penny is exciting is because of its role in the transition from older wheat pennies to the design that came later. In 1959, the United States Mint replaced the wheat ears reverse with the Lincoln Memorial design. That means that 1954 pennies are among the final years of the classic wheat design. Collectors often pay extra attention to the later wheat years because they want better condition examples before the series ended. Now picture this again: an old man in the 1970s collecting pennies from the change he got at the grocery store. A child in the 1980s finding coins on the sidewalk and throwing them into a piggy bank. A family in the 1990s saving wheat pennies in old jars and tins because they heard they might be worth something one day. Those jars still exist in many households today, and inside them, coins like the 1954 D dirty wheat penny wait silently, still holding their hidden value. Collectors often say that the thrill of coin hunting is similar to treasure hunting, except the treasure is hiding in plain sight. It's in your drawers, your pockets, your savings jars, your old bags, your father's or grandfather's collections, even in random piles of change. That is why so many new collectors become fascinated once they discover that everyday coins can be worth far more than they imagined. If you find a 1954 penny, especially a dirty one, don't rush to throw it away or assume it's worthless. Instead, take a closer look. Use a magnifying glass or a coin microscope if you have one. Look carefully at the details. Check for doubling, mint mark repunching, cracks, or unusual features. Carefully examine Lincoln's face, the date, the mint mark, and the wheat ears. Sometimes a coin that looks old and dull at first glance can turn out to be a valuable collectible. Collectors pay special attention to luster, the shine that remains on the coin's surface. Even on dirty coins, luster sometimes hides underneath. A quick tilt under light can reveal it. And if you're lucky enough to find a penny that still holds its original reddish tone, the classic look of fresh copper, it may be worth significantly more than one that has darkened completely. The United States of America 1954 mint mark Lincoln dirty 1-cent wheat penny is one of those coins that teaches you not to judge by appearances. It teaches you that history hides in small places, that value doesn't always shine, and that treasures often live in the shadows of everyday life. And most importantly, it reminds you that every collector started with a single question. Could this coin be worth something? Keep looking, keep searching, and never underestimate the power of a penny, especially one that survived decades of American history. Because some of these coins, yes, even the dirty ones, have shocked collectors at auctions. And now, the price that surprised many collectors, this humble coin has been sold for an incredible $32,000. In every collection of American coins, there are certain pieces that seem ordinary at first glance but carry stories far more valuable than their 1-cent face value. Among these hidden treasures lies one of the most fascinating coins sought after by collectors today, the 1956 no-mint mark Lincoln Wheat Penny, especially those that appear aged, discolored, or what many collectors call dirty. While millions of these pennies were produced, only a rare handful survive in conditions and varieties that make them incredibly desirable on the modern coin market. And today, we're going deep into the world of this iconic small treasure, exploring what makes it important, how it gained its value, and the exact features that separate an everyday piece of pocket change from a coin that could transform your collection. Back in 1956, the United States Mint in Philadelphia was operating at full capacity, striking vast quantities of Lincoln 1-cent wheat pennies. These coins were never marked with a mint letter, which is why they are called no mint mark pennies. For everyday Americans of that era, this penny passed from hand to hand, from grocery stores to bus fare boxes, from the palms of working families to the counters of diners, often without anyone giving it a second thought. But over the decades, as coin collecting grew and people began searching for wheat pennies in circulation, attention slowly shifted toward the particular characteristics that make some 1956 pennies stand out dramatically. One of the biggest reasons the 1956 wheat penny remains popular with collectors is because of the transitional moment it represents. America was on the edge of cultural change. Television was becoming a household staple. Cars were evolving. Post-war optimism was reshaping the country. Yet pennies still carried the classic wheat reverse design first introduced in 1909. This contrast between modern America and the older coin design adds a nostalgic charm to the 1956 issue, making it a beloved piece of mid-century history. Now, what about the dirty, or aged look that so many collectors talk about? Believe it or not, coins with natural wear, deep toning, or dark coloration sometimes attract more attention than overly polished or clean pennies. When a 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny shows years of natural patina, it demonstrates authenticity and time-traveled character. Some collectors love these coins because each scratch, discoloration, or stain seems to tell a story. Where was it used? How many pockets did it pass through? How many hands touched it before it eventually ended up in a coin jar, drawer, attic box, or a roll hidden in the back of a desk? Of course, while age and appearance draw interest, true value comes from a combination of condition, rarity, minting errors, and overall eye appeal. The 1956 no-mint mark penny is no exception, and certain examples have stunned collectors and auction houses with their unexpected worth. One of the strongest contributors to the value of this penny is the presence of die errors. These errors weren't intentional. They were the result of worn machinery, misalignments, doubled impressions, and pressure inconsistencies during the minting process. Some of the most valuable 1956 pennies show signs of doubling in the date or lettering. For instance, look closely at the word Liberty. Some rare examples have ever so slight doubling that can dramatically increase value. Other coins show anomalies in the motto, "In God We Trust," with uneven spacing or slightly shadowed impressions visible under magnification. Another major factor in determining value is the clarity and sharpness of Abraham Lincoln's portrait. While millions of these coins circulated heavily, only a small percentage were preserved early enough to retain crisp definition in Lincoln's hair, cheekbones, and jacket. Collectors prize those examples where even the lines in Lincoln's beard remain visible. And for the rarest of rare coins, those that escape circulation entirely and remain in mint state red condition, the value skyrockets. But even dirty pennies, those with a dark brown, almost black appearance, can carry value if the fine details remain intact. Some collectors specifically hunt for coins with both strong detail and rich patina. These coins feel authentic, untouched, and original. While the average 1956 penny might only fetch a few cents, the rare examples with intense collector demand can sell for tens of thousands of dollars. Another factor that continues to drive high auction prices is nostalgia. Many people alive today grew up with wheat pennies still floating around in their change. These coins represent childhood memories, the simplicity of older times, and a tangible connection to America's past. As more collectors enter the market, the demand increases, especially for coins with unique backstories or conditions. Imagine finding a 1956 penny in an old coffee tin in your grandparents' house. At first glance, it may look dirty, worn, or simply unimportant. But once you examine it closely, using proper lighting or even a magnifying glass, you might discover crisp edges, strong lettering, or subtle doubling. Suddenly, what looked like just another old penny becomes an exciting discovery. Let's talk more about specifics. A typical circulated 1956 penny might have dull coloration, perhaps even soil stains, oxidation, or decades-old fingerprints. If Lincoln's features are faint or worn smooth from years of use, these pennies remain common and hold minimal value. But if the coin, even in its dirty state, shows well-preserved date numerals, clean rims, and readable lettering, it falls into a more collectible category. Some rare examples of the 1956 penny have been found with die cracks. These appear as raised lines, often running through the fields of the coin from the rim toward the center. While these cracks occurred during production due to die fatigue, they can create visually striking patterns. Some collectors call certain die crack patterns lightning cracks, because they resemble lightning streaks. These errors are popular and can significantly raise the value. Another sought-after feature is die chips. These show up as small bumps in specific areas, commonly within the numbers of the date, or inside the letters of Liberty. Although small, these imperfections make a coin unique and desirable. One of the biggest surprises for new collectors is learning that some dirty, unattractive coins, those with dark spots, irregular coloration, or uneven toning, are worth more left untouched. Cleaning coins can destroy their natural surfaces and reduce value dramatically. Collectors and grading companies prefer coins in original condition, even with decades of dirt or discoloration. The natural patina proves authenticity and preserves historical character. So if you ever find a 1956 no-mint mark wheat penny with heavy toning but sharp details, you might have something special on your hands. And if you happen to come across one in a nearly uncirculated or mint state grade, with intense original luster, bold lines, and no scratches, the value could reach incredible heights. Let's paint a picture. Imagine walking into a coin shop with an old jar of pennies collected over the years. You pour them out on a counter, expecting nothing more than common change. Suddenly, the shop owner picks up a dark, aged penny, examines it under a lamp, and pauses. He flips it, checks the rims, studies the lettering, and looks at you with raised eyebrows. Without a doubt, this is the moment every collector dreams about, discovering that what seems ordinary may actually be extraordinary. And it happens more often than you think with 1956 wheat pennies. Collectors love telling stories of these surprise finds. Hidden inside old rolls of pennies purchased at estate sales. Discovered in boxes stored away for decades. Located in the back of a drawer or a forgotten piggy bank. These real-life stories give the 1956 wheat penny its magical, treasure hunt appeal. Now we come to the part every viewer is waiting for, the ultimate value. While many examples sell for modest amounts, the rarest pieces, those in exceptional condition or containing strong minting errors, have shocked the market. And one extraordinary specimen of the United States of America 1956 no-mint Mark Lincoln dirty 1-cent wheat penny sold for an astonishing $28,366. In the vast world of American coin collecting, there are certain coins that might look ordinary at first glance but hide extraordinary stories behind their worn surfaces. And sometimes, the most unexpected treasures are the ones that seem the least impressive. A coin that looks dusty, brown, dirty, or forgotten in an old jar can turn out to be a rare piece of history that collectors will pay thousands for. Today, we are exploring one such coin that continues to spark curiosity among collectors, treasure hunters, and hobbyists around the world, the United States of America 1958 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent wheat penny. This small copper coin, minted more than 6 decades ago, carries more than just the image of Abraham Lincoln. It carries the marks of time, the history of America's changing economy, and the curiosity of collectors searching for hidden value in everyday pocket change. Even a penny that looks dirty or worn can possess astounding worth, far beyond what anyone might expect. But before we reveal how this single cent became so sought after, let's journey into its origin, its features, its rarity, and the surprising factors that make it such a desirable coin today. The 1958 D-penny was struck at the Denver Mint during a time when America was experiencing rapid growth, technological advancement, and post-war economic prosperity. Millions of Lincoln Wheat pennies were minted that year, and they were distributed across the country, passing from hand to hand, store to store, and pocket to pocket. For most people, these coins were nothing more than change, just another copper penny used for everyday purchases. But for collectors today, the 1958 D-penny represents one of the final chapters in the long and beloved wheat-back design that began all the way in 1909. For nearly half a century, the wheat penny served as one of the most iconic American coins, featuring 2 wheat stalks on the reverse as a symbol of national prosperity and agricultural pride. By the late 1950s, the design was coming to an end, making the final years especially sentimental for collectors. The 1958 D-penny is the very last Denver minted wheat cent ever produced, which alone gives it historical significance. That final year before the design switched to the Lincoln Memorial reverse makes the 1958 issues symbolic. They mark the end of an era. But despite being a final year coin, the 1958 D-penny is not rare in normal circulated condition. Millions were produced. You could still find some in coin rolls or old jars even today. What makes collectors pay significant money for this coin is not the simple fact that it's from 1958, but the quality of its strike, the condition of its copper surfaces, the rarity of specific variations, and the mysterious charm carried by certain unusually preserved pieces. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 1958 D-penny is how dramatic the value difference can be between a regular circulated coin and one in exceptional condition. A typical worn 1958 D-penny that has spent decades being passed around might only be worth a few cents. It may look brown, dirty, scratched, or faded, but even this basic appearance tells a story. A dirty surface on a wheat penny isn't necessarily a bad sign. In fact, collectors often appreciate natural aging when the details remain strong underneath the patina. However, the true magic happens when a 1958 D-penny is discovered in remarkably high grade. The Denver Mint was known for producing strong strikes during the 1950s, which means well-preserved coins from this year can display sharp details, bold lettering, and a beautiful original luster that glows under the light. When a coin grader examines a high-quality example, they look at the fields, the portrait of Lincoln, the wheat lines on the reverse, and the overall surface preservation. Even one tiny scratch can lower the grade dramatically, and just one spot of discoloration can make a big difference in the coin's value. For collectors who love the Wheat Penny series, finding a 1958 penny with crisp, untouched features is like uncovering a time capsule. Imagine holding a coin that looks almost exactly as it did when it rolled off the press in Denver more than 60 years ago. The shine, the sharpness, the clarity, all preserved despite decades of potential wear. These rare survivors are the ones that command the highest prices at auctions and in private sales. But condition is not the only factor that makes the 1958 penny stand out. Eras and varieties play a major role in boosting the value of this coin. Although the Denver Mint was efficient and careful, mistakes sometimes happened: misalignments, doubled letters, die cracks, and other anomalies. These tiny differences can transform a simple penny into a prized collectible. Even a subtle doubling on the date or the motto can catch a collector's eye. Some 1958 pennies have unusual die states that show small raised lines or cracks caused by aging mint equipment. These details make each coin unique and increase demand among specialists. Another element that contributes to the coin's intrigue is how collectors perceive the final Wheat Pennies. Since 1958 is the last year before the iconic Lincoln Memorial reverse took over, collectors often chase the cleanest examples they can find to complete their Wheat Penny sets. Every series collector wants the satisfaction of a complete run from 1909 through 1958, and the last few dates become symbolic milestones representing the end of an era in American coin history. Even a coin that appears dirty or dark can surprise collectors with hidden quality once lightly examined. Sometimes the dirt is only surface toning, and underneath lies a remarkably well-preserved copper coin that avoided heavy wear. In fact, many long-stored pennies develop natural patina that actually protects the metal from corrosion. These coins may not shine brightly under normal light, but their value remains significantly high when the details are intact. Collectors know that natural color changes are part of the charm, and sometimes part of the rarity. The historical impact of the Lincoln Wheat Penny adds to its consistent market demand. The design has been admired for more than a century. The portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, was revolutionary at the time because it was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real historical person. Brenner's design survives even today, though the reverse has changed. The wheat ears on the back of the older pennies remind Americans and collectors of a simpler time, an era of craftsmanship and tradition in coinage. Holding a 1958 penny connects collectors to that history in a very real way. But the question most viewers want to know is simple: how does this penny become so valuable? The answer lies in a perfect combination of rarity, preservation, demand, and collector passion. High-grade examples are surprisingly hard to find, and when one appears, bidders compete fiercely. The coin market thrives on these moments when something small and unassuming turns out to be a treasure. Over the years, auction houses across the country have seen incredible results for top-graded wheat pennies from the 1950s. The 1958 penny, when preserved in pristine condition, becomes a perfect example of how a common-looking coin can surpass expectations. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cents often view the highest quality specimens as trophies. When the surfaces are smooth, the lines are razor-sharp, and the original mint luster beams without interruption, the coin becomes more than a piece of copper, it becomes a miniature masterpiece. Imagine someone picking up a dirty penny from an old box, thinking nothing of it, and then learning that this tiny copper coin could shock the world with its auction results. This excitement is what keeps the coin collecting hobby alive. It inspires new collectors, encourages people to check their change, and sparks curiosity in generations young and old. The hunt for rare wheat pennies is not just about money, it's about discovery. And now we arrive at the moment many of you have been waiting for. After exploring the history, the features, the rarity, and the collector passion behind this remarkable coin, it's time to reveal the incredible number that has made the 1958 Mint Mark Lincoln Dirty 1-cent Wheat Penny a modern treasure. A top-graded example of this coin has sold for an astonishing total of $25,543.